I don't even like Spright. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I get into the deck list, if you're enjoying today's video and want to see more content just like this in the future, especially new content based around the latest selection pack, as I have a lot of content planned. I mean a lot of content. I've got this video, I've got Dark Magician, Punk, Exosystem, Morphtronic, Dynamorphia with a brand new Synchro card, I've got Illusion, Libromancer, Illusion Spiral, maybe some other Illusion deck lists, I'm not really sure yet, Ojama Spright. There are so many videos that I've got planned or in my head that are ready to go, so if you're interested in seeing any of that content, remember to leave a like on this video and consider subscribing down below. Alright, let's get into the deck list. So today's deck list is honestly going to be really damn easy for me to go through, simply because every single one of the Spright R-type is, well, pretty damn easy to play. The actual R-type itself doesn't have any super advanced mechanics or anything like that, and each of the cards are just really damn simple. For example, your Spright Blue. This one comes with the effect, if you control a level 2 rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. All of your sprites do come with this shared effect. Then they have very simple effects. Blue will just search for a Spright monster. Your Spright Jet will search for a Spright Spell and Trap card. Your Red, this is a monster negate that can tribute off any other level 2, rank 2 or link 2 monster on your field to negate a monster. This one does the exact same but for spell and trap cards. And that is it for your monster main deck for the Spright cards. Then we move on to the Spright Spell and Trap cards, where there's actually only two of them. We have the Rare card, which is basically just banish one Spright card from your graveyard, to then banish one level 2, rank 2, link 2 monster you control, and one card your opponent controls. And this card is a quick play, and it's searchable. As you'll see in some of the combos I'm about to show you, your end board will actually end on this card face down, so during your opponent's turn, banish one of your sprites from your graveyard, get rid of one of the link 2s on your field which you don't need anymore, or you can recycle for later on, and just banish one of your opponent's cards. Very, very simple. And then we have your Spright Starter, which is, as expected, a starter. Special summon one Spright monster from your deck, but lose life points equal to its original attack. We don't care about losing life points. The only thing to really note about this card is it does lock you to only being able to summon Link 2 and Rank 2 monsters, so do keep that in mind, and of course level 2 monsters. So if you do use this card, don't try to go into things like your Trouble Sunny, you definitely won't be able to do that, which is why you'll notice my entire deck, excluding these two cards, is going to be level 2 and Rank 2. The remaining two Spright cards are actually in the extra deck, with your Gigantic Spright. This card takes 2 level 2 monsters, but it can also use Link 2 monsters you control as material as well. The original attack of this card that has a Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz as material gets this card's attack doubled. During your main phase, you can attach one material from this card to special summon one level 2 monster straight from your deck. And also, neither player can special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except level rank link 2 monsters. So this card is really cool, as first of all, you can summon out any level 2 monster in the game, literally any, and just summon it straight from the deck. No matter how generic it is, you can just grab it, put it on the field. And then it also locks your opponent from being able to summon anything big during your turn. For example, Nibiru. I'm still running Nibiru in this deck list simply because I like the idea of Maxx into Nibiru, but if you don't want to run this Nibiru, you don't really need it, as this deck list can be fairly safe to Nibiru anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you have it with the Crossout or not. I'm just running it because I like Maxx into Nibiru, but you don't need it in the deck list. The final card is your Spright Elf. This card takes 2 monsters including a level rank link 2 monster. Cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. Your opponent cannot target monsters this card points to with card effects, which is pretty cool because it stops Impermanence. During the main phase, quick effects, you can target one level 2 monster in your graveyard, or if your opponent controls a monster, you can target one rank or link 2 monster instead, special summon it. Very simple card, basically just allows you to Monster Reborn, and also do some pretty nasty combos, which you'll see in just a second. As for the rest of this deck list, it's all just cards you've probably all seen before, with a lot of live twin stuff and a lot of just random stuff. We've got this dude in here, which is just when he's summoned to the field, draws a card. That's probably the only other weird card in here. Everything else you've probably all seen before, and if you haven't, don't worry, I'm going to be summoning it all during the gameplay in just a second, and you'll know basically how this deck list works. So without further ado, let's get into the combos for this deck. Alright, let's get into the combos. So today's combos are going to be all based around the live twin Spright stuff. I'm not going to be showing you the sort of Spright only combos, as there is a couple of them, but these are the ones you're going to be using most of the time, and there is 4 of them. Like I said, there are a couple other sort of Spright specific combos, but you can probably learn them on your own time. There's plenty of other guides and stuff out there. Plus, playing Spright, like I mentioned earlier, it's extremely easy, so you can probably sort of just come up with them by yourself anyway. As you'll see from these combos, a lot of the stuff I'm doing, it's extremely self-explanatory, as you'll see. Alright, so first of all, this combo is just going to be a simple live twin only combo. So just imagine every other card in my hand is dead. The only card we have is just this one live twin, which I searched for with my searcher here, but pretend we didn't have this card. We only just started with just the live twin, okay? Alright, so summon your live twin. Live twin is then going to be summoning out a copy of your Frost from your deck. Or if you have the other one, you're going to be summoning out the other one. Pretty obvious stuff. Alright, summon out your Spright. And this is where the combo gets even more obvious. So, your gigantic Spright is going to be searching for the very obvious monster searcher, because that would just make more sense. So, detaching whatever, search for your monster searcher. I already have one in hand, but pretend it's not there. And this is then going to search for the spell and trap card searcher, adding your Jet to hand. Then when Jet is summoned, it's going to search for, you guessed it, the other searcher. Turns out this combo is just extend, 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 and it just searches for more searchers. No wonder this deck is so damn good. Alright, and this is where the combo becomes a little bit more advanced. So we're going to summon out our Dagda, and this is the main reason why Evil Twin is such a good variant of Spright, is because it makes this little combo of getting a hold of your Scythe lock really damn easy. So summon out your Dagda, then we can activate your Starter. Because you activated a card, your Dagda's effect goes off, putting your Scythe on the field for later on. So we can pop it during our opponent's turn to make sure he can't use his extra deck anymore. Our Monarch player over here with no extra deck. Alright, then we're going to special summon out Red to the field. This is important because you can summon back Red during your opponent's turn to have an extra negate. Alright, so from here we're going to go into our copy of Spright Elf. Anything else on the field? And this can summon back a card straight from your graveyard, which in this case is going to be whichever red you have. So if you started with the other copy, so you started with your other live twin, you want to summon back that one to the field. In this case, because we started with blue, we're going to summon back Frost. Putting Frost on the field. So now we can go into red. You basically just want to do this because you want to end on the pop card, and you want to use as least extra deck as possible to do so. You say summon your Ki-sikil. This will summon your level 2 back to the field. Then we can go into our copy of Popping Monster. And this also gives you a card draw. So your Lil-la is going to bring back your red. This will give you a nice little card draw here for potential more hand traps or extenders or whatever else. In this case we actually draw an Ash Blossom, which is pretty pog. And finally we're going to end on a nice copy of your red. From here, your red can just bring back your Popping Monster and then remove something during your opponent's turn. In fact, we'll show you that. So, your end board for this deck is going to be ending on a 1 pop, ending on a billion cards in hand, and we of course have, your Scythe lock. So, we'll see. We'll show you. Alright, so when the turn passes, I can now activate my... Well, let's summon something first. I now activate my copy of Ki-sikil, which will then bring back my blue, putting blue on the field. Blue can then pop your Scythe, and now my opponent is locked out of using their extra deck. On top of that, we can use our Spright Elf to bring back a card from the graveyard, which, depending on how sort of F you think your opponent is, you can either search for more interaction, such as another monster negate, which I'll do right now, or you can search for other stuff for extending and going into whatever else you feel like. But in this case, we just summon out the negates. So now if my opponent activates any kind of monster effect, I can simply use my Spright Red to tribute any of these cards on the field to then pop whatever my opponent has. And there's the Scythe lock. In fact, I kind of wish he did there, because if he popped a card, I then could have used my Lil-la's effect to bring back my Ki-sikil and then have an extra, sort of an extra card draw. So that's basically the combos for the basic combo with just one live twin. Alright, on to combo number 2. This one's going to be using your Live Twin in combination with your Spright Starter. Now keep in mind, as I go through these last 3 combos, you'll notice they all look almost identical, because they basically are. You're just changing the order / sort of losing a bit of choice, as you'll sort of, just wait till I show you the other replays, I'll sort of explain it there, but the only thing you sort of lose is just an element of choice. That's literally it. So the first thing you're going to be doing is summoning out your Live Twin. Live Twin, just like before, going to be bringing out your dude from your deck. Unfortunately, not a Frost, but that's okay. Then we're going to go into a copy of your copy of your Gigantic Spright. This so you can summon out a different level 2 from your first combo. You'll be summoning out your Reptile. Attaching a dude. Summoning your Reptile from the deck, your Ipiria. Now this card's pretty cool, it just lets you draw a card. Now depending on what sort of deck list you're building, you don't actually have to run this Ipiria, you don't have to do this part of the combo, you can just summon out literally any other level 2 in the entire game, it does not matter. This could be an Ojama, it literally doesn't matter. But this one gives you a card draw, it's just sort of the preferred one. But you could even cut this card to have more hand traps in your deck and just summon out just one of your level 2s you already have. It literally doesn't really matter. Alright, from here we're going to go into our Dagda. Now, because we have a Spright Starter in hand, we're going to use it to activate our Dagda's effect. Dagda giving us our Scythe lock. Alright, putting our Scythe on the field. And your Starter, of course, is going to be searching for all the stuff we haven't used yet. So your Blue, which will then search for your Jet, which will then search for a different spell card this time. Just grab your Jet. You can summon out your Jet whenever you like, put it on the field. Giving you a search for your background card, your Spright Smashers. Which is a pretty cool card if you haven't already seen me talk about it during the gameplay, or during the decklist portion. Just activate it, banish a card from your graveyard, get rid of one of your Link 2s on the field, and you can destroy and banish one of your opponent's cards. Just get it off the field. Alright, I don't think it destroys, but you have to banish one of your cards, your opponent's cards. Alright. From here, we're going to go into our Spright Elf. Alright. Spright Elf can be summoning back your copy of your red from the graveyard. Putting red on the field. And from here it looks very similar to what you would have seen in the first replay. Summon out your red. Put red on the field. Red bring back blue. Summon out blue. Get a card draw, bring back red once again. And end with a potential pop of your Scythe to stop your opponent being able to play the game. Alright, making sure you end on red, very important, because if you don't end on red, you won't be able to summon back your Lil-la, to then be able to pop one of your opponent's cards. Or pop your Scythe, or pop one of your opponent's cards if you think your opponent isn't actually using their extra deck. You find out when they summon their cards like, oh, my opponent isn't actually just setting a bunch of back row, maybe I shouldn't pop the Scythe, I should get rid of one of his cards instead. But yeah, making sure to end on your red, so red can bring back blue, which can then pop a card on the field, and yeah. And of course, set your Smashers so you have a banish during your opponent's turn as well. And that's basically it for the second combo. Alright, on to combo number 3. This one is going to be considered your best start, simply because it gives you the most choice, as you'll see, as I'll show you at what point you get the choice. Alright, it's going to activate your Lil-la. Lil-la going to bring out your Frost. From here we go into our Gigantic Spright. Bring down the field. We then summon out our Spright Blue. Spright Blue giving you a search. Going for your Jet. Gonna hold off the Jet for a minute because we're gonna need that in a second. Using your Gigantic Spright, detaching your red. Bringing out a copy of your Reptile, giving you a card draw. Drawing for a card. From here we go into your Dagda. Alright, summon out Dagda. Now we can activate our Spright Jet in hand. This will give us a search, and of course activating your Dagda's effect. And this is why this combo is considered the best, because it allows you to have a huge choice here, where you can choose depending on what you're up against. If you know what your opponent's playing, let's say you're in a tournament or something, you can choose for your Spright Starter for a monster or spell and trap card negate, or you can search for your Spright Smashers to be able to banish one of your opponent's things. So it's sort of up to you. I think it's generally better to grab the Spright Starter so you can go into a Spell and Trap card or Monster Negate, but you can grab Smashers if you like, it's just sort of up to you. Alright, we're going to add the Starter to hand for this replay though. Alright, from here we're going to go into our Spright Elf. Spright Elf, of course, going to bring back a card from the graveyard. In this case, we're going to be bringing back our copy of our Ki-sikil. Bring that on the field. From here, we can go into our Spright Red. Sorry, our Live Twin again. You've seen basically where this goes from the previous replays. Summon this dude back. And this is also where you're going to get another little choice. I'll show you in a second. Because essentially, you can use your Spright Starter now if you want to have your Monster Negate instantly active on the field, which can be beneficial if your opponent has, let's say, an annoying normal summon. But if you sort of want to wait till you get a little bit of information to find out if your Spell and Trap card negate might be better, you can also just not do that and have it set, because it is a quick play, so you can use it during your opponent's turn. But do keep in mind though, it does have a bit of a... I'll just show you during your opponent's turn. So we're going to draw a card real quick first. Ending, of course, on your blue again, so we can... Oh, sorry, ending on your red again, sorry. Nearly messed that one up. Setting your Spright Starter, and then we're going to pass the turn. Now, from here, we could have activated this during our own turn to be able to sort of make it so that our opponent, if they have an annoying normal summon, we'd have an instant negate ready, or we could wait to see what our opponent's playing, which is what we're going to do right now. So the reason I'm not going to activate this during main phase is of course waiting for information, but it's also important to note you want to pop your Scythe first, because this card does come with a limitation of you can only special summon level 2/rank 2 for the rest of the turn, so you won't be able to summon your Scythe back from the graveyard, so you want to wait till after you've summoned your Scythe at least. So opponent's going to summon a monster. I'm now going to activate my Ki-sikil. We can also activate this if we want to, why not? We're going to bring back our copy of blue for a card search. Not going to use this yet, because like I said, we need to pop the Scythe first. Put our blue on the field. Blue's going to give us a search. Ki-sikil going to bring back our pop. Use your effect, pop Scythe. Popping the Scythe. Use your effect, give us a card search. And once the Scythe has resummoned itself, we are then safe to... having a jet later on, but then safe to activate our quick play. So Scythe 3 summons, put itself back on the field. Opponent is now locked from the extra deck, and we're safe to summon out our monster / spell and trap card negate. So whichever one you feel like. Completely up to you whichever one you summon. So I'm going to summon the spell and trap card negate, because I didn't summon this last time, so there you go. And that's basically it for combo number 3. Alright, on to our final combo. And this one's going to look very, very similar to the previous, as it's basically the exact same thing, only you're going to lose a bit of element of choice. Alright, so secret password, going to be searching for your dude. Of course, this isn't part of the combo, this is just how to get a hold of a live twin. If you're wondering why I'm running a 2 to 1 ratio here, it's just because it makes it easier to sort of deck thin. That's literally it, so... Alright, so I'm going to copy our live twin to hand. Alright. Summon our dude then going to be searching. Grabbing a copy of our Frost. Then from here, we can summon out our Jet, giving us a search for our spell card. And from here, you're basically locked into Spright Starter. You can't search for this because you really need to get a hold of blue, and this is how you're going to do that. You can technically summon blue off of your gigantic Spright here, then you lose a card draw. So it's sort of like, you're basically locked into searching for your starter here, and that's why this is sort of a little bit worse than the previous combo, but not really if you end on your monster negate anyway. It just ends up sort of being exactly the same. But that is why it's considered slightly worse. Alright, give yourself a card draw. And then from here, we can just go into your Dagda. You can use either monster on field, it doesn't matter because you're going to have to summon back something with your elf anyway. Alright, then we can use your starter to search for your blue. Activating your Dagda so you get your Scythe on the field. Alright, setting our Scythe. Starter going to be summoning out a copy of your blue. And blue's then going to search for whichever one you want. If you want your spell and trap card negate, you can grab that, or you can grab your monster negate. Completely up to you. This one's prismatic, but we're not going to be searching that. We want the monster or the spell and trap card negate. We're going to add this one. Weird flex once again. Got a flex, I've got a prismatic in here, you know. The prismatics have got to be worth something, you know. If I can't flex them to my people watching my videos, what else am I going to do with them? Alright, summon back your elf. Elf can then bring back a level 2, which is of course going to be whichever one you need for your summon of your live twin, which you've already got red in the field, so it could be literally any level 2. So we can go into our red. Red, summon blue. Put your blue back on the field. Then we can go into our other blue. So you can bring back the red for the card draw. Drawing a card. And of course making sure to end on red so you can pop your Scythe during your opponent's turn. And also don't forget to actually summon the monster negate you have in hand. Because that would be rather silly if you didn't. Or your spell and trap card negate, whichever one you search for. Summon it to the field, and that's basically your end board. You've got your artifact Scythe pop, you've got your spell and trap card negate, and you have your Spright Elf to bring back anything in the graveyard for whatever draws or searches or whatever you feel like doing. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I have so many new box videos, or new selection pack, whatever it is, card videos planned for the future. So if you want to see any of those, remember to subscribe, like, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, hope to see you guys in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.